They told you to celebrate a new year. I'm telling you, they were busy slaughtering the old world.
While you were being distracted, the great powers, they went to war. And I'm not talking about some proxy conflict or another trade dispute. No, this is a war of bone breaking.
You need to understand the polite phase is over. The time for negotiation, for diplomacy, for all the comfortable lies, it's gone.
What we're witnessing is the start of the Great Partition. This is the moment where the global pie isn't just carved up anymore. It is seized by brute force because it's just not big enough for everyone to get what they want.
In the last 48 hours, the diplomatic masks didn't just slip. They were torn off. Let's walk through the timeline of the crime, shall we?
It was two moves, back to back, that lit the fuse on this whole thing. One from Washington, and the immediate brutal counterpunch from Beijing.
So on December 31st, the Treasury Department puts out this quiet little press release. The media, of course, they call it routine sanctions. But the military reality? It was a full-blown naval blockade. See, the target wasn't really Venezuela. It was about squeezing China's main energy artery and securing fuel for what they're calling Fortress America.
Beijing got the message, all right? Instantly. They knew they couldn't fight the US Navy in the Caribbean, so they didn't even try. Instead, they hit back where it hurts. They cut off the one material America desperately needs to build its high-tech weapons, its missiles, its entire modern arsenal.
And here's where it gets really interesting. It's the nature of these attacks. Washington started a fight over geography, over a location on a map. Beijing responded with industrial annihilation.
Let me break this down for you, because this is crucial. Oil is a fungible commodity. If the US blocks Venezuelan crude, China can just buy it from Russia or the Gulf. Sure, it'll cost more, but they can get it. But industrial silver? China controls over 80% of the refining. There is no substitute. The US move raises costs for a few weeks. China's move stops American production lines cold for years.
This, right here, is the Pentagon's new playbook. America isn't trying to police the world anymore. It's trying to own its half. It's locking down every resource in the Americas before those final partition lines are drawn in blood. The strategy is simple. Seize what you need and let the rest of the world burn.
And this is a masterclass in Beijing's strategy. China knew, absolutely knew, it couldn't win a naval battle thousands of miles from home. So it turned the supply chain itself into a weapon. It targeted the Pentagon's empty warehouses and the assembly lines that were supposed to refill them.
But this fight isn't just a two-player game. It hinges on a third player, the one that's always operating in the shadows, the one enabling this whole damn exchange, Russia. Make no mistake, Russia is the gatekeeper here. They're mercenaries, the successors to Wagner. They're protecting the oil fields. Their chemicals, a special diluent called naphtha, is the only thing that makes that Venezuelan sludge actually flow. And it's their shadow fleet of tankers that gets it to China. So that American blockade, it isn't just a challenge to Beijing. It's a direct challenge to Moscow.
So why would Washington make such a ridiculously bold move? They're betting everything on something called the wedge strategy. The new doctrine is to basically downgrade Russia as a threat so they can focus everything on China. The gamble is that Moscow won't risk a direct war with the US just to protect China's oil supply. It's a very, very dangerous bet.
And that brings us to the new reality. The era of playing nice, of economic competition, it's over. The fight for resources has gone physical. The talking has stopped. You know, in this new game of bone breaking, winning isn't what you think it is. It's not about victory parades or unconditional surrender. It's about survival inside your own fortress. The outcome isn't victory. It's a global stalemate, a world of fortified blocks where each one holds the other hostage. America gets its energy, but it can't build its weapons. China can build anything it wants, but it can't fuel its factories. And Russia? Russia becomes the indispensable broker, the gatekeeper of survival between them.
Forget what they're telling you on the news. This is the truth. The world has just been broken in two. Act accordingly.